All right, welcome back to Kings of Opinion, episode 75. No Big Earn today. He's got parenting duties, so it's just me and the Wanderer. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
So, I don't know if this is Orion's rant, but we're just going to go right into football and how disappointed I am at the Jets game on Sunday. It was a sloppy game, obviously, because it was raining all day.
Yeah.
And I unfortunately got to watch the game from my office because I was doing some overtime work. I got some a long day there, and I was just watching this game, and I couldn't believe how bad everyone played.
Yeah. I feel like that's the weather a lot there is rainy and miserable.
Right, and the Jets looked miserable. Like, they play a team that had, I think, a total of 85 passing yards or 90-something, maybe 96. So not even 100 passing yards. The guy throws the only touchdown in the game. It's a rookie, Bo Nix, who, apparently grew up idolizing Aaron Rodgers. So he beats Aaron Rodgers, right? And there's just a lot of things wrong with this game. Short and sweet. Nobody really played well.
Yeah.
Too many penalties.
Definitely.
The defense played good in the first half. I mean, it was a crappy weather game. So
Right.
both defenses played well, enough, I guess, to win this crappy game. I mean, they lost 10-9. But too many simple mistakes where they could have just won this game outright in the second half, doing a couple different things, running the ball, passing the ball a little bit better. And even at the end, they still had a chance to win.
Right. Even after turning the ball over on downs, they still had a chance to kick the field goal.
Right. And they turned it over on downs. It was a sack by Rodgers, which is usually unlike him. He's going to throw the balls, on fourth down.
He was getting pressured.
Yeah. And it was just disturbing to see that kind of play out. And then the defense comes out, stops the Broncos. They miss a field goal. And then I think it was like a 40-something yarder. Then the Jets have their own at a 50-yarder, and he misses. The funniest thing about all this is if they would have won 2-0, I would have hit the Fallon's pool for $500.
Oh, wow.
Which would have been nice. So they were terrible. And that's pretty much it with that game. It's just disappointing to be a Jet fan and like having all these good guys, but they're not really being that good. And it's only gonna get tougher. Now they go to London this week in a couple days. They're probably already there. They got to play Minnesota. That's another game that's gonna be kind of crazy.
Yeah, Minnesota 4-0.
Yeah,
Looking good.
looking great. And Sam Darnold looks like not even a competent quarterback, like a MVP type of quarterback. I mean, I know it's only 4 games, but this is a crazy week for them. And it doesn't get easier after that. Then it's the Bills, and then I don't know who it is after that. I don't know. I'm just worried about these next 2 games.
Yeah.
But that's a Sunday morning game at 9:30, which I'll probably not wake up for. I'll probably wake up at like 10:30, and they'll probably be losing like 14-7 at that point, and I'll be like, "What's going on?" I don't even necessarily think they have to win this game yet because there's still plenty of the season left, but they gotta play better football.
Yeah.
And that goes for a lot of other teams too. The Cowboys are one of them.
Oh God, yeah. I didn't. I only watched some of the first half, but just by the score, I could tell. It wasn't much of a game. So I guess they did a little more than the Giants, but they've got a lot of work to do.
Oh, absolutely.
And they play the Steelers this week, who just lost their first game. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they got a little bit of a tough road coming out too. I mean, a lot of the teams do. You got the Bengals sitting at 1-3. They play the Ravens this week.
Yeah, that's a tough team to be facing when your back's against the wall.
Right, especially and they got to face them another time after this, but especially after just the Ravens just played the Bills and smoked the Bills on. Was it Sunday night?
Yeah.
Sunday night.
Sunday night.
And I didn't see that coming. I thought that was going to be a shootout kind of game.
So did I.
But they took care of business. They ran the ball well. But something about these, like, divisional games, they're always good. Like, no matter how bad the teams are, like, for whatever reason, these divisional games, they just play up or whatever. And I don't think the Bengals are necessarily that bad. They just don't have a defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have an offense. So they're going to have to – Burrow's going to have a big game in order to keep it close.
Time, yeah.
You know what I mean? And try to win against the Ravens. I actually picked them, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. But yeah, it's wild. How about those Commanders?
Yeah, have first place in the NFC East, Who would have thought? But yeah, they're playing good. Good. The quarterback, what was his name? Daniels, I think.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
You know, he's making some big throws, and yeah, they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's looking like one of the better choices so far from last year's draft. And he's coming along nicely. It looks like every game he's getting a little bit better. He's completing like an ungodly amount of passes. I think his completion percentage is over 80%. I think it's around 82 and change, which is nice. And just the other day, I think he had a completion percentage of like 90 something.
Oh, wow.
I want to say, yeah. But yeah, they're doing good. It's going to be a wild ride. The Lions looked good last night again. Goff went 18 for 18.
Wow.
Passing, which I can't remember the last time I saw that. And the only reason why it's not a record is because he had to go at least 20 for 20. Okay. So he's 2 away from setting an NFL record because apparently they don't count it unless it's 20 pass attempts.
Yeah, I saw they were running the ball well in the first half, and I also saw he made like a defender miss and then he did like a 360 and fired a perfect pass. Well, I guess one of those 18. So yeah, you know, I mean, we thought they would be one of the top teams in the NFC, and it seems to be the case.
It sure is. I don't know what else we got on the football slate. Bunch of games. Oh, you know, it was a bad game. That Miami Titans game yesterday.
Yeah, I checked in a couple of times, but I couldn't really, you know, it didn't really hold my interest.
No, if you want to see bad football, I think those are the 2 teams you have to like really watch right now because Will Levis doesn't look like he could do anything. Like he's regressed since last year because he was actually getting good at the end of the year,
right.
And this year he hasn't done what he's supposed to be doing. And you know, as far as Miami's concerned, if they don't have a good quarterback, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Like you could have all the offensive weapons in the world, but it's not working for them for whatever reason. So,
right.
I had to turn it off, and I started watching. We were watching Loki season 2. I was just like, well, let me just get out of this game.
Yeah.
But geez, man, it's brutal. There was a couple games like that over this weekend. Jets was also another one of them. Obviously, we talked about that earlier. But yeah, you know, football season in September is not the best. So we now turn the page to October 1st. It's the spooky season. We're right in the middle of fall. And, you know, football normally takes a better turn right after September because of all this whole lack of preseason playing and all that. So maybe they'll fix it up. Maybe this will be the first weekend where you'll see a lot better football.
Hope so.
Yeah, I think we all do. With that being said, I took a step forward in the right direction with my fantasy football this week, which is great.
Excellent.
Got a big W in my big league, which was good. So now my overall record is 3-5. So
okay.
I'm hoping this weekend.
3-5, what do you play? 2 games a week?
No, we play 1, but we go against like the median. So whatever the average is of all the scores, if you get over that, you get an extra win. Just like if you don't go over that, you get an extra loss.
I see.
So yeah, by the end of the season, you could be like something like 22 and 8.
I think I like that rule.
No, it's not the best, but it was just. I don't even know why my buddy did it, to be honest with you. I can't remember. This was a couple years ago.
Put that up for vote next.
Yeah. I think that's what they do on that sleeper site. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you could take that away. We'd have to go back to one of those regular things.
I see.
But you know, the first year we had it, I won the championship, and I was like 22 and 8. So,
nice.
You know, I wasn't complaining. But yeah, I got to try and get back to 500 in this league. So hopefully I get a big W this weekend. Did you hear the news that Devontae Adams wants a trade? I'm driving on the way home.
I didn't hear that.
And there's been a lot of issues with the Raiders the last couple of weeks, and he's one of them.
Okay.
So he didn't say anything as up until today. The report came out, but a couple days ago, there was like, I guess, breaking news broke, and they're saying like the Raiders were open to talking to teams about trading him.
Okay.
And then he went on the radio. He didn't say anything about it. Whatever. And then there was some tweet that he might have played his last game or snaps with the Raiders, and then Antonio Pierce liked it on Instagram or something, and then immediately, not immediately, but eventually took it down.
Mm-hmm.
and he was on the radio speaking about it. And he's like, I can't control it. He seemed like he had said the right things.
Mm-hmm.
And then apparently there's a report today that he's requesting a trade. So automatically, my head, I know what everyone's thinking. Oh, he's going to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. That's not the first place I thought would be a fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the first place would be Kansas City.
Okay.
Because they just had the injury, season-ending injury to Rashid Rice.
Oh, I didn't know that he got hurt Sunday.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
And Mahomes hurt him. Actually, like he ran into his knee or something like that.
Oh.
Like there was a fumble or something.
Right.
And he ran into his knee, and he got carted off the field after that. And
Wow.
they knew right then and there it wasn't good. So yeah, he's out for the season. Probably in the surgery.
Top guy, yeah.
Yeah, he was. He was thriving in that offense.
Yeah, since last year.
That's not good news for him, but he'll be back next year. But that was immediately my first thought was Kansas City. Yes, it could also be the Jets too because they need as many weapons as they could have, and obviously he has the rapport with Rodgers, which would be great.
Yeah, you think they would bring another receiver into the mix like that?
I mean, they have more problems than that. Like, I think their receiving corps are okay.
Yeah, so do I.
But the guys on the radio that were talking about this kind of made sense, right? So they were saying, you got Reddick over here that we traded for. He's a holdout still. So now it's week 5.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they were thinking move him to the Raiders for Devontae Adams.
Okay.
And then you give him a second-round pick, and they want some kind of compensation, or I guess some money or whatever they got to do with that. I don't really know how that works for football as much as I do baseball. But it would be nice to have another big top wide receiver, but then you kind of lose out on either Lazard or Evans because you're not going to have 4 wideouts.
Right.
Every play, right?
Yeah.
And then you can't forget the running backs. They both know how to catch the ball.
Right.
So you got the only good thing is you're going to create mismatches. So every game, someone's going to be left open, whether or not they could, get the ball to that guy and make a bunch of catches or spread the ball around, like kind of like what Patrick Mahomes likes to do. He's like just spreading the pepper in everybody, and everyone's getting like 4 or 5 catches for 50 to 80 yards, and a few guys get a touchdown.
Right.
So that could be good, but the Jets need more than just that. I'm still not opposed to that trade because if you got a guy here that's not happy and you don't want to pay, might as well just trade him for that, especially if they're up for it.
Yeah.
Then you have another wide receiver. Maybe it opens up Garrett Wilson a little bit. Maybe now you can start getting him the ball now because they're double teaming Devontae Adams or whatever. So it could be a good thing. It kind of makes Mike Williams expendable, so then you could probably trade him for a pick to someone else. Maybe you could send him to KC or somewhere else that needs a wide receiver.
Yeah.
It opens up doors, but they got to get these penalties under control because it's killing drives. Like the few drives that we had, we moved the ball, and then we get these penalties. We're getting pushed back out of field goal range. It killed us the other day. So whatever. That's that. I mean, that's pretty much all I heard of the Devontae Adams trade situation. But monitor it, take a look at see what's going on because that might happen any day now. Because if they're looking, someone's gonna make him an offer and he's gonna go probably by Monday. I would assume because
if it's
even that long.
If it's that bad.
Yeah, I guess it actually is. So we'll see. I don't think it'll be time for him to play this week, especially for certain teams, but especially not the Jets because they're already in London. But either which way, he'll be ready to play next week for sure. He's a veteran and a Pro Bowler. He'll be ready to go, just throwing the ball. So now we get into the baseball playoffs, October baseball. There's really nothing better, in my opinion. Games are already on. They're already started. Some games are already over. I wanted to do a breakdown, but I didn't realize all the games are going to be today, and some of them are already over. But as far as who has played already, you had Detroit and Houston on deck first in Houston.
Did you see the finish of that one?
Yeah, it was
pretty interesting.
It was wild. So I don't remember. I think they scored in the second inning. Yeah, they did. So Detroit takes an early lead on just a bunch of singles, basically.
Okay.
3-0. Stays 3-0 all the way to the 9th, and then I was a little more distracted. So explain what happened into the 9th.
Well, the closer comes in, who's been pretty solid. I think he had like 28 saves or something like that.
Decent.
which is a lot for a team that just made it. But again, too, it's a hell of a year for the Tigers, who were left for dead, and they came all the way back.
An unexpected playoff appearance, someone say.
Without a doubt. So good for them just to be in be there.
Right.
So yeah, the closer came in. The first guy up, I think, was Alvarez. He hit a double. It was a pinch runner for him. Then I think another guy, maybe another guy got on.
Yeah, I think it would wind up being first and third.
Right.
Because the second guy got on, hit the ball up the middle. The guy shortstop made a great play.
Right.
It was first and third.
Right. Then it was 3-2, I think. And well, I'm not sure if they pulled the closer before.
I think it was after the next guy. That
Okay.
guy.
Right. So then it was 3-2. I think they got the second out, or they got the first out, and then I think they got the second out. But anyway, the bases were loaded, and the bases were loaded, and they ended up. The guy ended up hitting one right to the first baseman.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But
a smoke line drive. That was Hayward.
Yeah, it was Hayward too. And
I saw that.
He worked
He
the
smoked
count,
it.
too.
Yeah, smoked
But
it.
it was just intense for like that ninth, for
Yeah,
the bottom of the ninth.
I hate the Houston Astros, but I'll give them a little bit of credit. Not even the team.
Back, yeah.
No, not even that. I don't even care about that. I'm not gonna give them that credit. Screw them. Their fans were loud all game, and they were losing 3-0 the entire game. The fans were never out of it until the last pitch, which it's crazy to me. You know what I mean? I mean, that's why I love playoff baseball, right? So that was good. So Detroit takes the first game on the road, 3-1. I tell you, I like Detroit. Like you said, left for dead. They've done a hell of a lot of good things there. They got a lot of good young talent. They snuck pretty much into the playoffs, like pretty much on the last weekend. They're gonna be tough, right?
Yeah.
So then you go. We fast forward to the second game, and it was Kansas City at Baltimore. Now I didn't get to see much of it.
I didn't either. I just saw it was 1-0.
Right.
See it one.
And that's pretty much all we're gonna say. That series is gonna be like another dogfight.
Did Kansas City win?
Kansas City won 1-0.
Wow.
They both had 5 hits, and it was 1 run. Both pitchers, I would assume, pitched well. It was Reagans and Burns, but Burns got the loss. So they gave up the lead. I guess he gave up the lead later, in the 6th, because I was keeping tabs on it, and I was looking at it in the 4th, and it was 0-0. So he must have just gave up that run, the top of the 6th, and then probably got pulled, and that's all they wrote. But probably another great game. There's a pitcher's duel when you win 1-0. So you got both aces on the mound. There you go, right? And now you have the third game. It's the Mets at Milwaukee. And this is just a game that's kind of like almost bounced back and forth. So and by no means is it over yet. It's only in the bottom. It's in the bottom of the 6th. But yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure they took. Milwaukee took a lead in the first, 2-0.
Was it the first or the second? First? Yeah, I think you're right. It was
Yeah,
the first.
it was the first. But then, just like the Mets have done all year since June 1st, the Mets come right back in the top of the second, scored 3 runs. Winkler had a big double, triple.
2 RBI triple.
Yeah, the 2 RBI triple in that inning, and then he winds up scoring on a sacrifice fly, and then the Brewers wind up coming back in the bottom of the 4th, make it 4-3, and then the Mets put up a huge 5 spot in the 5th. So here we are sitting in the bottom of the 6th. It's 8-4 Mets, and for what it's worth, Severino's pitching a pretty good game. Outside of that first inning, You know, he gave up just 2 runs in the next 5. You know, the Mets doing okay, right?
How about yesterday, just to get in?
That was crazy in itself too.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a question for you actually, because I was asking asking guys at work.
Yeah.
I'll give you my answer after the fact, but, and I'm not gonna make it specific to just the Mets, but when the game started and we didn't know who was winning,
Right.
and before we get into that game on how everything transpired, because that was a crazy game in itself. You're right. If you win the first game,
Yeah.
besides, I don't even want to do it like that. If you win the first game, would you go for the throat and try and beat that team in the second game just to knock them out of the playoffs?
Yeah, I think I would have. Yes, I definitely would have, but I also think that I would rather play San Diego, just because of how the Brewers have kind of done well against the Mets this year, and especially with running, stealing bases like they stole 16 bases I think over the weekend.
Yeah.
That's a lot, and yeah, I just I think also it would be nice to knock Atlanta out too, who owned the division for a very long time.
Correct.
So yeah, I would definitely go for the sweep.
That's my feeling too. There's a lot of people that I talked to that wasn't their feeling. They would rest a lot of guys. I'm like, It's one game.
Right.
Like, you're not talking about like a week or whatever, or a weekend.
It's the same day.
Like, I almost rather keep them sharp and roll right into tomorrow. Yeah, like I'd rest like once I'm in the playoffs.
Right.
Like Sevy wasn't gonna pitch game 2 yesterday. I'd
Right.
pitch the next best guy or like my number 4 or 5 depending on like how the week would go.
Right.
But other than that, I'm having everyone else in that game to try and just bury the Braves and say we knocked you out, just like 2 years ago they knocked them out of the division champs. You know what I mean? So that was just me. I was just it was just interesting. I wanted to ask you that question when you brought it up. So tell us what happened in yesterday's game in the first game of the doubleheader.
Yeah, so the Mets were losing. I think it was 3-0.
Yep.
Until I didn't actually see it live, but was it until the 8th inning?
Yeah, pretty much. No, I think it was the 7th.
The 7th.
Yeah, I think so.
So I guess they were able to tie it up, and then I think Nimmo had a big home run.
No, you're right. My mistake. It was the 8th. So the Mets were losing 3-0 into the 8th. And then go ahead.
Right. So yeah, I guess they were able to tie it up, and then Nimmo had a home run to take the lead.
Correct.
But then in the top of the 9th,
the bottom of the
the
8th.
bottom of the 8th, the Braves stormed back to take the lead again.
Which is bananas.
And then someone who's been clutch this year, I guess you could say their leader, Lindor, had a 2-run homer to put the Mets up again
In the 9th.
and that would be the deciding run.
That was wild. That was a wild game. So yeah, pretty crazy game for them. You know what?
Typical of their season too, right?
Yeah, they've been coming back. They've been fighting hard, man. I'll tell you that much. And today they're doing it again. Down early, come right back. Down again, come back. And then it's not like they're just tying the game.
Right.
They do what I wish the Yankees done a few times this year, which they failed to do. Like, I forgot who they played recently where they were losing 9. Oh, it was the Pirates and the other series before that. They're like losing 9-2 or 9-3, and then they wound up staging somewhat of a comeback, but fell short. The Mets make the comeback and go past it, which is like pretty impressive if you're just a baseball fan, like and just like appreciating baseball. To do that is not easy,
No.
and you got to give them a certain like respect for doing that, and they just keep doing it. It's not like they do it, once a month, comeback game, whatever. They just constantly fight and fight and fight. And they're forced to be reckoned with in this playoffs. If they win this first game, I could see good things going. Do you have any predictions for these divisional series while we're talking about it? Or wild card series, I should say.
Well, I guess I'm gonna take the Mets in this one. Hopefully, I don't put any bad mojo on. What's the other National League?
Atlanta and the Padres.
Oh right. We'll go with the Padres there. And then we're gonna go with Detroit. I'm always rooting for the underdogs. Detroit is a great music city too. Big fan. So they made it. So let's see them keep it going.
Yeah.
And then I'll go with Baltimore. And even though they're down 1-0, I'll take Baltimore.
I like it. I'll start off. I don't, and I'm not saying this because I don't care who the Yankees play. I know everyone knows I'm a big Yankee fan.
Right.
I just like Detroit better than Houston. I feel like this year is the Houston team that is very, very beatable. Matter of fact, across the playoffs, everyone's very, very beatable.
Definitely.
No 100-game winner.
There's
not a team like I'm worried about them. Like I think even from
Anybody
my
could.
perspective, with being a Yankee fan, any one of these teams could win the World Series. So with that being said, it's very simple. I think Houston gets knocked out. Detroit winds up winning. Whether or not they win tomorrow or the next day, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they just won tomorrow and it was over. Atlanta, San Diego. I see San Diego moving on. They've been hot for months since the All-Star break. Atlanta has way too many injuries. Give them a lot of credit though for just making the playoffs with all those things.
Definitely.
Fantastic. If the Mets win right here, which they should, I see them moving on as well. These first games are very important. So to me, whoever wins this first game,
huge in a 3-game series.
Yeah, huge in a 3-game series. I'd almost put money on all these teams that win the first game are all going to move on. Has crazy things happen? Of course. So with that, tag the Mets, they're it. And, I guess the only difference is this one. It's Kansas City, Baltimore. I'm going to say it's going to be Kansas City.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. And then I would assume we'll already be into the divisional round by our show next week. So we'll have somewhat of like a shape of what's going on. I was looking at the schedules, right? So these are all back-to-back days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I think Friday starts some games. Let's see here. Nope, they all start on Saturday. So Saturday is the first game of the division series.
Okay.
And I guess to look ahead, you'd have the Yankees versus the winners of the Baltimore and Kansas City. And then you'd have Cleveland play the winner of Houston, Detroit. Phillies would play the Mets or Milwaukee. And Dodgers would play San Diego, Atlanta. So that's how it would go. All start on Saturday. They don't have the times here yet, which I'm not concerned about. But what I am concerned about is they're giving them a break every other day. So I don't know how this works. You got the American League at Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. And then you got the National League is Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
I see.
So you'll get the National League games when you don't have pretty much the American League. So that's good. And then we'll go from there. And we'll see. We'll break down those series, I guess, on Tuesday. Actually, Wednesday next week, hopefully. And we'll do that from there. I actually forgot to do our picks from last week for football. So if you want to give us the records,
sure.
Because Ernie's not here, you're gonna pretend you're Ernie for today.
Okay. We have the records from Ernie for.
So how did we do for the week first
totals.
off?
Let's see.
I believe it was not really
okay,
good for
so
either
for,
Ryan.
For you,
Yeah.
you had 1 win.
Right. So I was 1-3.
Bengals cashed in for you.
I told you that was the money game.
The other teams did not. Ernie had 2 wins. The Vikings and Bengals both covered for him, and I've continued my trend of just 1 win. So I now have a grand total of 3 for the season. So the totals are You're at 10-6.
Okay, I'll take it.
Comfortable 5-game lead. Ernie's at 5-11, and I'm at 3-13.
Oof. All right.
Not doing too hot, but hopefully we can turn it around this week.
All right.
I
Well,
feel like I say that a lot.
you do, but you know what? It's week to week. You could turn it around this week. We'll see if you can. We'll be very excited to see you turn it around. At least go 2-2. That's progress in my
That's what
opinion.
we're
You know,
shooting for at least a draw.
right? At least 500.
Right.
You know, and I gotta tell you a funny story after this. But anyway, so I'll pick first. My picks are very quick. Jets versus Vikings -4 for the Vikings. I'm gonna just stick with the Jets, see if they can pull out a miracle, either keep it close or actually win the game in London. That I'm probably not gonna see until the halftime. I'll see the second half of the game. Then I got the Browns and the Commanders. Commanders -3. I'm gonna ride the hot hand. I'm gonna take the Commanders. The Browns don't look at all impressive. Watson's been terrible, so I'm gonna go with them. Then I got a weird pick here because I didn't know where to go. So I'm picking the Finns and the Pats. Right? Pats are giving 1.5, so it's -1.5 for the Pats.
Mm-hmm.
I only chose this because it's almost like a coin flip. -1.5, right? So
Not a sexy game.
not a sexy game, but I see Brissett being as bad as he was last week.
Right.
Much better than whatever Miami quarterback throws out there. I heard of a guy named Devang Meta. He might be suiting up for the Miami Dolphins.
Is that right?
I don't know, but that's how bad they are. They're just open calls for a quarterback. So without a quarterback, Miami's no good. So I see the Pats actually they have a good defense and a decent run game with Stevenson. I see them winning that game by at least 3 points. Yeah, and then my last game. This is gonna shock you too. Big divisional game. Ravens at Bengals.
Yeah.
I picked the Bengals last week. I'm picking them again this week too. The Ravens are giving them
Bold pick.
2.5 points. Yeah, I feel so strongly about the other 3 that I'm just throwing this to the wind and hoping hoping it lands and I get a win out of this one. Because I can't see the Bengals going 1-4. I see them coming back to the pack. Like I said, it's a hard divisional game. I could kind of see this being a last-minute field goal win, and they have that super good kicker. I think it's McPherson or something like that. Remember when they went to the Super Bowl?
Right.
So I can see this being somewhat of a back and forth battle, like we thought the Bills were going to do with them.
Right.
So this is divisional, it's different. They're on a 1-game win streak, so I think that's going to be it. So yeah, that's my picks. I'll go with Ernie's. Ernie's real quick. He's got the Vikings. He's taking the Vikings at -4. He's taking the Bears with -4. The Chiefs -5, and he's got the Cowboys getting 2.5 points. And then you got yourself.
Yes. So hopefully we can turn it around this week. I also like the Commanders. Hopefully they can get it done. I like the Seahawks as well. Hopefully, they've been playing well besides the one loss in Detroit. So I think
And they're playing the Giants, right?
yeah, I think they'll bounce back.
Yeah.
Minnesota. I also like Minnesota -4. I think Ernie picked that one as well, and I'm also going to take the Cowboys, getting 2.5.
See, this is a big week for us on picks because you and Ernie share the same with 2 picks. Me and you share the 1 pick with the Commanders, and I'm going against you both with the Vikings.
Oh boy.
So if the Jets wind up winning, it might be murder for you guys this week. But that's the fun about picking these games. Hopefully no one takes these picks and actually tries to bet them. Because
Don't do that with
you guys would be really upset at us because we're not really, even though I'm above 500, 4 games, we're not as good. Even though I'm better than some of the guys that are picking on TikTok and Instagram and the radio as of right now, and we're in week 5. So we'll see where that goes. So funny story,
Yeah.
I'm at work on Sunday,
Okay.
and it's early. I'm just looking through TikTok, and I don't even remember the guy, but the guy throws out these picks, right? And I wish I had the bet, but it was basically like a parlay of touchdowns, anytime touchdowns on DraftKings. And it was Justin Jefferson, Kyron Williams, Nico Collins, Harrison. Is that 4 or 5? There's 1 or 2 more. I'm trying to think who it was. Any which way. I said, you know what? I'll throw $10 on this. So I go to DraftKings. I put it down, and I'm watching the games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking through fantasy, checking every halftime at the end of the game. I'm looking at stuff.
Right.
Most of the guys that I picked, I think it was a 6 guy touchdown scorer parlay.
Okay.
5 of them were at the 1 o'clocks.
Right.
Oh, Hurts was another one for a touchdown.
Gotcha.
I might be missing one more, but for the you guys, I think I had 6, but I'm missing somebody, whatever it is. Did I say Marvin Harrison?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm missing somebody else. But either which way, right out of the gate, somebody gets one. I'm waiting. I see a no one get one. Then I'm like, oh man, Philly's getting crushed. He's probably not going to get a touchdown. All of a sudden, he gets one somewhere in the second half of the game. And I'm like, I'm only looking for Kyrie Williams right now for the 1 o'clock slate. So out of the 5 that I had for the 1 o'clocks, I'm missing 1. All of a sudden, the ticker comes down to the bottom of the screen. Kyrie Williams, yada, 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 and a touchdown. I'm like, yes. So now, Marvin Harrison Jr. is at the 4 o'clocks. I didn't have the game on TV, so I couldn't see. All of a sudden, let me just check my fantasy. I haven't checked it yet. The game started, I think, at 4:05. Mm-hmm. I literally look, and I see he has, 11 points. I'm like, 11 points? The game just started 10 minutes ago. I look in, boom, he has his touchdown. Wow. So I win right away the bet.
It hit.
And it hit.
Nice.
Boom. So excited. And I haven't done that in a while because I try to stay away from that. But I have $50 in the account, so I'm like, let me just throw this in there and see what happens.
Prop parlay.
Yeah, but I was so pumped. It was great. So on top of making money at work, I made a little extra money doing that.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was cool. Yeah, that's my story.
Hey man.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nice little hit.
Yeah, it was a nice little hit. I think it was like 505
Excellent.
for that. Yeah. So now I got to look for that guy on TikTok. You know what I mean? I got to find that guy. I don't know who that guy was. I got to take his bet this week.
Right.
See if I can make it 2 for 2.
So see what else is got.
Right. But anyone could do that, right? Like you just got to look. And what's good about fantasy, I guess, is you look at your teams, and depending on who you're playing, whatever, you see who's scoring. Like I liked it because I knew Marvin Harrison has had a touchdown in the first 3 weeks. Right. Kyrie Williams has had a bunch of touchdowns. Anytime Hurts is on the 1 yard line or 2 yard line doing the push, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're pushing him into the end zone. And then Nico Collins is a stud. So I'm literally only taking a chance on 1 or 2 guys in that bet, which is why I took it.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. But yeah. Yeah, that's it, I guess, for the sports. Oh, the big Knicks trade. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Wild.
Karl Anthony Towns for Randall and DiVincenzo.
And a first-round pick.
Right.
Do you think that's going to be a good thing for them?
I'm not sure. I feel like they gave up a lot. Towns is he's definitely a talented player. But I guess we'll see how he plays with the team that they have. But people have. I saw a lot of comments saying that we gave up too much, that he's soft. So in New York, there's a lot of pressure.
Yep.
It's not like Minnesota.
No.
So I guess he's got the talent, but will he be able to execute? I sure hope so.
Me too. I mean, you get mixed reviews on the trade. Did they have to do it? Probably not. I find it weird that they traded early on in the summer for McBride, right? Mm-hmm. And they kept those Villanova boys together, right. And then they traded one away. Now, I don't think they gave away a lot because you're almost could they have got the deal done without DiVincenzo? I don't know. Maybe you should just.
Oh, Bridges, right? Bridges.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right, Bridges. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. You're right. 'Cause I thought it was somebody else, but anyway, I think it makes them stronger. And you're right. The knock on him is he's soft. He gets hurt. This, that, and the other. And the Knicks we're finally back to like the '90s styles of basketball where they're just gonna run you into the ground and be more physical than you.
Right.
So if he's asked to do that, that might be an issue. I'm just most worried about the chemistry of the team.
Right.
Like if he comes in, everyone likes each other. I think they're gonna have a very good season, and then they could if you look at their lineup, they're probably one of the most stacked teams in the NBA at this point.
Right, and maybe he can, take some of the burden off of Brunson so that Brunson doesn't have to, go out there and score, 30 or
40 or 50
for them to win.
Agreed.
And hopefully it can help Brunson too to have an option to
Agreed.
give somebody else the ball.
Because
inside.
they have Bridges, Hart, Townsend, Brunson, and I'm probably missing somebody. Oh, and OG.
Right.
So that's a stacked five. So as long as they have a somewhat good bench, so these guys aren't playing 40 plus minutes a game,
Right.
they'll be good. You know what I mean? And it was said that once, even before this trade, that DiVincenzo's time was going to be limited anyway.
Right.
So it's good for him to get out. And Randall wasn't here most of last year anyway with his injury.
Right.
And when he did play in the playoffs, he wasn't particularly great. And he's a hothead. So I liked him getting out of here. And if, Cat is soft or whatever, if he just plays his game and helps the guys around him to be better, that's kind of all I need him to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he must play defense. The Knicks are built on defense.
Yes.
So, let's see how it plays out. I still think we're another month before they start.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. So at least he's got a month to get acclimated with the team. I'm sure they're practicing right now, whatever. But we'll see how this trade is. I liked it. If the GM identifies that they don't have enough to win a championship and he goes out and makes moves, which he did 2 big moves this year.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's true.
Love it.
Definitely 2 big moves.
Yeah, huge moves. No one else is doing anything. So, and there's a trade deadline with them too. No one says they can't get a guy for the bench or something like that if need be. You know what I mean? So let's see where that goes. And we'll go from there. TV shows, what do we got?
I haven't really been watching a ton of stuff lately. Keeping up with Penguin, which is good. That Bad Monkey, I think it might have an episode left.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'll get to that then.
The Old Man season 2 has been good. I think that's about it.
That's a good roster you got so far that you're watching.
Yeah. I watched the first episode of Monsters, the Menendez brothers thing. I heard I think it has a lot of buzz right now. I thought it was all right. Maybe I'll get more into it.
Okay.
But didn't really grab me as much as I guess everyone else.
Well, you got to see how many episodes it has because maybe it'll build on it. Maybe it's a slow starter. You know what I mean? It's like a turtle.
Yeah.
It'll be better towards the end. Of the race. At least that's just me. Who knows? But you let us know how it is. I got a laundry list of TV shows I got to watch. And with this being Halloween month and things going all over the place, probably gonna watch some scary movies and whatnot. I don't know how much I'll get done, but I'm waiting for the last episode on Thursday for the Lord of the Rings, the Power of the Rings or whatever.
Right, okay.
Dude.
Yeah, you're digging that, yeah.
Big. It's a really good show. I watched the 6th or the 7th episode. I'm sorry, finished it today, as a matter of fact, and they're in a big war right now. And oof, man, that show, Lord of the Rings. Whoever wrote the Lord of the Rings knows what he's doing.
Tolkien.
Yeah, good show. I'm sure a great book. I'll never read it. Sorry, but great show. I can't wait to see the one on Thursday that comes out. I just started Snowpiercer. I think it's the last season.
Okay.
That's okay. It's a little slow right now, but I only saw the first episode, so whatever.
I've only seen the movie. I haven't seen the show.
Well, did you like the movie?
Yeah, the movie's awesome.
Then you'll like the show. You should check it out. It's only 4 seasons. So like it's 40 episodes.
I see.
So whenever you got time, it's good. Like the first 3 seasons were good. The fourth season, like I said, I watched the first episode. It's okay. It's probably gonna take an episode or 2 to get going, which I'm okay with, because I invested so much time watching it already, and plus the show's over.
It all takes place on the train?
No.
Okay.
So, the first 3 seasons takes place on the train.
Oh, wow.
Let's put it like that. But the 4th season is a little different.
I see. Oh, you know what else I forgot to tell you? I know you probably haven't watched because it just came back. From is
Oh, it's back? Third season? Really?
Yeah.
What's it on?
MGM Plus.
Oh, I don't know if I have that. I gotta check. But thanks for letting me know. Let me know when it ends.
You were the one who told me about it.
I know.
I'm not sure if I want to go back because I watched 2 seasons. I still have no idea what's happening.
But that's perfect to me. I don't know. Like for that show, it works. I don't know why, but it works. And it's just like the demons or whatever these vampire demon things are. Like I don't know. To me, it just works, right? But I didn't see any commercials about it coming back. That's so weird.
Yeah, I don't think they did a lot of advertising for it.
Yeah, that's kind of terrible. Is it the last season? Do we know anything like that?
I'm not sure.
All right, no big deal. Just let me know when the season's up, so I could. I'm gonna put it on my list, and then.
Yeah, it's probably like 2 or 3 episodes into it.
Wow, 2 or 3 episodes in already?
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, well, we'll see what goes on with that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I watched. Yeah, Snowpiercer. Hopefully, I'll be done with that in a week or so, and we'll move along on the list, and we'll let you guys know, and I'll let you know what movies I watched for Halloween. I already watched 13 Ghosts the other day. I was at work, put it on. That's kind of a weird movie, but good at the same time. Doesn't get the credit it deserves, but it's a somewhat of an original idea. I kind of liked it. But yeah, that's all I got. Go with your picks, bud.
Okay, yeah, only got 1 pick this week.
Only 1?
Yeah, it's a slow week.
Slim pickings.
Yeah, for music. So it's Ninth Wonder and Give 'Em Soul with 147. That is the pick for this week.
All right, that about does it, folks. Enjoy your week. Enjoy October baseball for all you fans out there that have a team in the playoffs. And if you're watching the show, you're probably either a Mets or a Yankees fan, so you're going to be watching this all week long with the Mets Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you got the Yankees over the weekend. And hopefully the Mets make it through, and you'll see them over the weekend as well. We'll be with you next week to kind of guide you through the second round of the playoffs and give you guys some predictions and maybe some bets and all that other good stuff. So enjoy the week, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for coming by.
Later, guys.